So imagine this, you're playing in the brand new Alpha Strike update at around battle rating 10.0, and then you're scanning the horizon, and all of a sudden you see what appears to be a 120mm Abrams at around 10.0, and then you think, wait a minute, that can't be one, right? And as you move around to flank the vehicle, you realize it's not an Abrams, it's an M60 with the turret of an Abrams. He shoots somebody, and then all of a sudden he starts reversing, and then you realize this thing has no mobility, its hull probably has no armor, and then you come to realize this thing is also firing M829A1 at 10.0. Yeah, that's going to be the current future of War Thunder at around 10.0. Now, I figured we'd go ahead and take a look at the M60-120S, or as I had previously known it to be, as the M60-2000. If there's a difference, I can't seem to find it in my normal Google searches, so if you want to educate me on that, you're more than welcome to do so down in the comment section below. But what you have in the end is an M60 chassis with the turret of the M1A1 with all of its perks, all of its quirks, as well as all of the downsides you would find with, unfortunately, the hull. But aside from the fact that this thing looks incredibly ugly, in my opinion, yet somewhat beautiful to some degree, this vehicle is more or less what you would expect for a 10.0 vehicle. It has decent-ish mobility. I'm not gonna say it's the best, it's decent. It has a decent amount of reverse rates. At 8 kilometers, okay, it's not decent. It's actually pretty damn bad. But on the bright side, you don't get to suffer from NATO hump. Now, if you don't know what that is, it basically means that you cannot point the gun backwards on most vehicles that would have it, such as the Leopards, as well as the Abrams as a whole. As you can see, this thing has a really nasty NATO hump. So let's move over onto the hangar and take a more in-depth look of the M60-120S. Now, I want to pop over to the X-ray view because this is very important. You have no armor to speak of in the hull. I mean, this is an M60 chassis, meaning that the only armor you get is just the RHA. That's it, or the cast. Yeah, it's just the upper and the lower plate, just raw armor. No composite, no ERA, nothing, which means that at 10.0, everything is going to kill you, even in a down tier at around 7.7, if you ever get that low with this thing, which maybe in a custom game or something. Even the 105 heat rounds are going to tear you a brand spanking new one with this. But here's the cool thing about it. Assuming you decide to carry a full rack, which I don't recommend, you won't have much ammunition in the hull itself, whereas this vehicle has all the protection in the turret face. Now, again, this is an M1A1 turret, and you get all the perks with it, meaning that you have good composite, good heat protection. You get also the good turret traverse as well as the firepower. But let's talk about the armor for just a little bit, right? This, unfortunately, will not mitigate well against rounds such as the one fired from the 292. Yeah, good luck with that. You're not going to survive a hit from this thing in the turret, period. DM33-120 is going to have a hard time hitting on this side at least. Here, depending on the distance, we'll go through the turret. Anything above that, DM43, 3BM60, 3BM, I believe even 46, if it still exists. All of those rounds will go through this turret face without much issue, unfortunately, which, you know, is kind of a downside. But the flip side, which is the positives of this vehicle, you do get, of course, get the M829A1, which is a very, very good show. At 10.0, it kind of is overbearing, I would say, paired with a laser rangefinder, Generation 1 thermal sight, good turret traverse, good vertical targeting, which is very uncommon around this battle rating unless you're in an SPAA or a specific tank. You get the built-in blowout panels, which will save your butt, although you don't have much to replenish that if you do lose it, seeing that I wouldn't recommend, again, carrying ammunition down here. You do get wonderful sights. 3 to 10 times is absolutely magnificent, and you also get some decent gun depression. With this at minus 10 degrees, this thing is going to be a hill camp of a vehicle. But another downside, flipping things over a little bit, 750 horsepower engine, 56 tons. I swear most of that weight of the vehicle is probably in the turret itself because this thing is beefy. Minus 8 in reverse. Oh boy. Yeah, and this thing doesn't pivot well, at least from what I could tell. Oh, and there's one more thing I almost forgot to mention while talking about the firepower of this thing. With an aced crew, you reload this every 5 seconds for the first stage ammo stowage. Firing M829A1 every 5 seconds at 10.0? Dude, I thought the 292 was bad, okay, in terms of like reload rate, but good on firepower. This thing is going to schwack those vehicles. Now, the Americans have been doing very poorly for the most part at top tier. They might resume the bad streak when the F20 comes in, but more about that in a separate video. But right now, as it currently stands at top tier, they have been slowly making their way back up. And now that they've been doing so poorly, it kind of makes sense to have in my opinion, a lower tier vehicle to kind of offset that a little bit, because the 292 was just, it's an overbearing vehicle in my opinion. I love the damn thing. I know no machine gun, etc. Helicopters can spank it. I mean, unless I see you first, that is. Sometimes the 120 is going to make up a lot of the shortcomings of other nations to assist them in defeating those 292s, which I think sells for around 70 Gaijin coin currently, almost, which is a fair price given the type of vehicle that it is. I'm not trying to sell it, I promise. Now, I would compare this directly to the M60 AMBT. It only makes sense, right? It also sits at this battle rating. It has the KEW, which is almost on par, with MA29A1, and it has, I think, some better characteristics to that compared to the Abrams. It has better mobility, it has a better engine, it's faster for the most part, but the problem with this vehicle is that it is an event vehicle. You cannot get it outside of crates and buying it off the player market. This is a tech tree vehicle, which I don't really understand why it is, but it kind of makes sense because this vehicle is still in, I won't say development, just no one has really bought it, but it does exist, oddly enough. Oh, and you also get Generation 2 thermal sights, but you lack a lot of the capabilities of that vehicle, such as being able to shoot behind you reliably anyways, without these little humps in the back. You also, of course, get the top-mounted gun here. As already mentioned, you get a commander sight with Generation 2 thermal sights as well. It's just, I think this might be a better vehicle overall, but you get way more protection in the turret with this at the exact same battle rating, with the trade-off being you lose mobility. But please take this with a grain of salt. This is the dev server. Things are subject to change. I know there's a lot of things from the Abrams that came onto here that just didn't exist with the M60s. This might have some good perks over this vehicle, but really it makes sense to get this at 10.0, seeing that it just sits right behind the M1A1HC, which is a very good area to grab this thing. Although it isn't lined up with the M1 Abrams, it makes sense to have this vehicle in the tech tree as it currently stands, at least in my opinion. But that's it. That's all you're getting for when it comes to the quick overview of the M60-120S. Now, I will be making a dedicated video of this when the major update drops. In fact, depending on what they drop, this might be the first one you see at around 10.0, of course. But that is entirely subject to change if this thing goes up in battle rating. I don't think it's gonna go down. I think it's only gonna go up, maybe 10.3, maybe 10.7. It really remains to be seen. But if they do that at 10.3 and leave the 292 at 10.0 and the 2S25M at 10.0, it would kind of be a slap in the face for the community, at least the Americans, in my opinion here. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Is this thing going to change up the 10.0 environment? Is this just a dev server fluke? Who knows? Maybe it will be nothing like as we see it right now, or maybe it's just going to be another dead arrival. Let me know down in the comment sections. And while you're swinging on down there, don't forget my 3% discount link, my live streams over on Twitch. And if you want to support me as a creator further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does help me out tremendously. I'm trying to hit that 100K, which we're getting close. It's a definite struggle bus getting up there, but you know what? We're doing it. But anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this sort of talking head video. I will see you not only in the next one or even the streams, but most certainly in the next major update in a couple of weeks. I'll see you next time.